Stained is what I'm going to start with today. This will be the last video lecture for this class for this semester. We are just about done. We've got this week and a day or two, and we're done. So we've got this last video lecture. You've got an assignment and a discussion post, all due this week by Sunday. Okay, we actually have a last class on Monday, but your discussion post and your assignment is due Sunday. Monday, you have a exam due, exam number 3 for this class, and you have your Ramsey report due. So you've got a busy week to get things done in. All of those are in the activity section of the D2L activities tab under the quiz, assignments, or discussion post. So that's where you should post those things. Later in this week, I'll be putting out a video, just a year-end, ending semester video. So watch for that. Alright, this last chapter we're going to do is we're going to jump back in the book to chapter 15, and we're going to talk about motor vehicle theft. This one gets separated out from just the theft area because it obviously is based on a little bit different concepts. When you're investigating motor vehicle theft, a lot of departments will actually have 2 or 3 detectives doing almost nothing but doing motor vehicle theft, depending on the size of their department. And the reason is, it is a problem. Okay? Now, we can go through all the ideas of what deserves to be incarcerated in prison and what doesn't. Once you get your car stolen, if it's insured, you get insurance money. And, so are you really out anything? I mean, there's all kinds of discussions on how we should view motor vehicle theft in society. But, having said that, it is still considered a felony, and it still has its own statutes, and it has its own investigative techniques. The way these things are investigated, it depends on which type of motor vehicle theft you think you're actually dealing with. The book likes to classify 6: joyriding, transportation, stealing it for the commission of another crime, stealing it for gang initiation, stealing it for parts, and stealing it for resale of the whole vehicle for profit. Most investigators don't really do the gang initiation as a major use for motor vehicle theft. Does it happen? Sure, it happens some. Is it a standard initiation right throughout America for every youth gang? No. Do the incidents, depending on how big of a youth gang situation you have, depends on how big of a motor vehicle theft problem you have for gang initiation. So you just got to be careful on spending a lot of time and energy on that, depending on your demographics and your dynamics for your location. Joyriding and transportation. Those two are really similar. The only difference is the joyriding isn't really done because I have to get from point A to point B. It's because I'm bored and I want something fun to do, and I see an opportunity and I steal a car. Usually those end in abandonment, maybe abandonment and fire. But usually the vehicles are found. Transportation, same thing. I need to get from point A to point B. I'm choosing not to walk, ride a bike, do something else. So I steal a vehicle to get from point A to point B. Commission of another crime. Vehicles are stolen all the time to then be used as a getaway car for a robbery, to be used in some other crime. For a while we had a problem with some smash and grabs, stealing both ATMs, stealing in jewelry stores, where they would steal a car so they could drive it through the front of the business and then steal an item that they wanted inside the business. That's usually what you're talking about when you're talking about motor vehicle theft or commission of a crime. The last two, stealing it for parts or stealing it for resale, are essentially also really similar. The idea is to steal this thing, not get caught, and convert this vehicle into money. Either by converting the whole vehicle into money or taking it to a chop shop, which is a automobile shop designated to strip the vehicle down and then sell the parts. On a motor vehicle, there's a number called the vehicle identification number, the VIN. This is located once on the dash, maybe once on the door or door post, but then there's about 3 other ones hidden on the vehicle in places you can't find or get to without really searching, maybe even taking part of the vehicle apart. Other than those, there are no individual markings for parts on a vehicle. Airbags is one of those ones that vehicles are being stolen to steal the airbags because they're expensive and they can be sold and they can be removed from the vehicle easy and they can't really be tracked. Okay? There's lots of parts on motor vehicles, on motorcycles, that don't have unique numbers specific to that stolen vehicle. So once they're removed from the vehicle, they're easily converted into cash because now they can be used anywhere and purchased anywhere, and the people buying them are relatively safe from being linked to buying a stolen vehicle's property. That's why these people do these things, because other than 3 or 4 areas that have that VIN, the rest of these parts do not have unique numbers that can be traced back to that individual stolen vehicle. That's why people do this, okay? So you get it to a chop shop, the wheels, the tires, all the brake components, all the axle components, all of the engine components get stripped down. If it's one of those 4 or 5 areas that have a VIN, then you either don't sell those or you destroy the VIN. One of the areas in reference to converting full vehicles for resale is what they call vehicle cloning. This is where you purchase a vehicle with a legitimate title, usually a wrecked vehicle. So I go out and I find a 2016 F-150 Ford pickup truck that's been totaled. I can buy that from the insurance company relatively cheap. And when I do, I get a salvage title. So now I have a vehicle and I have a title. Now obviously I can't do anything with this completely totaled vehicle. So if I'm a criminal, I go out and steal the exact make and model year of that vehicle I just bought. So now I go find me an F-150, I steal it. Well, instead of stripping it for parts, I take and I replace those VIN numbers, those VINs, with the ones from my wrecked vehicle. Now I tell everybody, hey, I bought this salvaged wrecked vehicle, I fixed it, it looks like new, Now I sell it for 4 or 5 times the amount I bought the wrecked one for. The people buying it have a title, have a vehicle where the VINs match the title. And unless someone tears it completely down to find one of those hidden confidential VINs, everybody thinks it's all above board. They get a good deal because they think they're buying a wrecked vehicle that's been fixed, so it's cheaper. I get a great deal because I spent, $1,000 on this wrecked one, stole a vehicle, spent a half a day changing out the VIN plates, and now I sell it for 5 times what I paid. That's called vehicle cloning. That happens a lot, okay? And it happens because it works, and people get away with it. In Colorado, because of where we're located, and the closer you get to the Mexican border, we also have a big problem with vehicles being stolen in America, taken to Mexico to be resold. If they can get them across the border, now it doesn't matter if they're stolen, if you can title them, because those are our U.S. rules. Those aren't Mexico's rules. And so that happens too. Now, what do you do about investigating these? Well, obviously, as soon as the vehicle is reported stolen, you have to investigate by first trying to identify why it was stolen. Do you think it was kids doing it for a joyride? Do you think it was the transportation? Do you think it's for resale? And then you have to just try and somehow either locate the suspects, if you have any leads on them, or locate the vehicle, if you have any leads on it. Most of the leads on suspects either comes from physical evidence at the scene of where the vehicle was taken, or intelligence. Certain people are stealing cars. Locating the vehicle is going to be done by putting out searches and watches. Everybody always likes to hear the term, APB, all points bulletins for these stolen vehicles. With everything being computerized, it doesn't take much to enter a stolen vehicle in the computer now, that if any cop anywhere runs a license plate or a VIN, it'll come back as a stolen vehicle. That's really the ways you do this. Now, if you're trying to have a chronic motor vehicle theft problem, you can also trying to catch the bad guys by setting up bait cars. You set up a car to be stolen. You make it easy to be stolen. Sometimes, depending on your jurisdiction, you can even leave the keys in the car. But the car is completely wired for sound and video. So you have video of anybody that gets in it and tries to take it, or does take it, which is great evidence. You also equip it with a kill switch. So as they drive away and you're going to make your stop to arrest them, you can do it at a location of your choosing, and you're guaranteeing that they're not going to be able to run away and get into a high-speed chase, which are extremely dangerous for the public. So these vehicles are equipped with kill switches. They're called bait cars. The assignment this week is for you to go out onto YouTube and pull up some episodes of that TV show that they ran for a while called Bait Car, where they followed a motor vehicle theft unit when they were setting up their bait car, and then people stealing it and the subsequent arrests. So go out and look for those videos and see what else you've got. most of the best advice for citizens in reference to motor vehicle theft is to do the small things that everyone's always told from day one. Keep your vehicle locked. Keep your keys out of your vehicle if you're not there. Don't ever stop it and leave it running. Just if you're going to run in for 5 minutes. All of that kind of stuff. Don't leave it in an area that's a high crime, high motor vehicle theft area, so on and so forth. But there's really only so much you can do. Motor vehicle theft is one of those crimes of opportunity. The people have already made up their mind that they're going to make a theft. They're going to steal a car. And now they're just looking for either the car that they want, that they match by one they know they can steal, or one that just appears to them that's easy to steal. You can only interdict how easy you make it for them to steal. Changing their mind about stealing it, you're not going to do that. So you can only stop giving them an opportunity. Alright, so this is it for that. Make sure you look in D2L content section. There's 2 PowerPoints. Look at your book and reference the highlighted portions, and you should be fine. See ya.